Was surprising to me. They put their barrel. Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit.
The liquid culture.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Liquid Culture with me, Mitchell Chirac. Good to see everybody again today. Thank you very much for joining for this little ad hoc episode, actually. You'll notice probably not filming this around the time that you're watching it. I've got a little bit of the little facial hair going on. Just chill. Got the little cardigan. It's a nice, chilly, wet day outside. But the reason for filming today is actually been doing some traveling lately. My buddy JP hit me up, wanted to see if, since the two of us had been doing some traveling lately, wanted to grab a beer, drink somewhere, and I thought, well, you know what? I actually have some beers that I've been wanting to shoot. So I'll tell you what, why don't I rip out a quick Jester King vid, have it on deck in case I'm doing some traveling or I'm a little bit busy and don't have time to do some new content, and I'll have that one in the chamber that I can just pop out at any given time. Even though this is going to be a chill beer review episode, it's not to be taken lightly. Actually, this is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. This is a brewery that is very important to me, and honestly, I think it's a brewery that's very important to a lot of beer drinkers, serious beer drinkers around the country, because of some of the things that they're doing. It's down in Austin. More specifically, it's in Dripping Springs, Texas. So Dripping Springs is just a little bit outside of Austin proper. I would say it's about a 20-minute drive from downtown Austin. Jester King, I actually got married right down the street from Jester King. Even before the wedding, me, my groomsmen, my dad, my uncle, my grandfather, we actually took a little trip to Jester King, had a couple beers, some pizza before all the festivities started. So needless to say, Jester King is one of my absolute, probably my favorite brewery. No question about it. Jester King was started in 2010, Jeffrey Stuffings. They were actually one of the first breweries in the state of Texas. And not only were they one of the first, but they still remain one of the most unique breweries in the state of Texas. So what does Jester King do? They make farmhouse ales of a specific place, of a specific climate, of a specific time, of a specific people. They are very, very focused on making beers that taste like Jester King. I mean, plain and simple. They have a terroir, much like the great vineyards of the world. Jester King feels that they've got their terroir there in Dripping Springs in the hill country, and they want to make beers of that place. When they opened in 2010, at that time, my idea of craft breweries or craft beers was the Sam Adams seasonal releases that you can buy in the grocery store. You know, the winter ales and whatnots, the Oktoberfest. That was my idea of craft beer. Well, when I was still in school, there was this brew pub down there called Dancing Bear. They had some really nice craft beer selection, and I was starting to drink things like the 512 Pecan Porter, another one of the early Austin craft breweries. And then from there, after I graduated, started drinking local craft beers in Dallas, and then had my first sour beer, which was what really blew my mind. Like, oh my God, I've never had any beer taste like this. This is crazy. This is different. And that experience led me to Jester King. Finally, I made a trip down, and the brewery location is unlike anything that you would imagine a brewery to be. A lot of us think, okay, breweries, well, we're probably going to go to some big industrial building, in the middle of some, urban kind of area. It's not that. Jester King is a farmhouse situated in the middle of nowhere in the hill country, surrounded by fields and trees and wildlife. So now they're up to a couple hundred acres. They're farming that land. They've got goats running around out there. I mean, it's truly something unlike a lot of other breweries that you go to, and something that's truly, truly spectacular. So, needless to say, Jester King holds a very special place in my heart. It's one of my favorite places to visit, not only because of the experience that you have at Jester King, but it is bar none the best place in the state of Texas to buy beer, period. Not just Jester King beers, all kinds of craft breweries. Stuff that you've never heard of, stuff that, you have heard of, but you can't find it anywhere else. Jester King has it. They have one of, if not the best curations of a beer list for beer to buy and take home anywhere that I've been in the state of Texas. So if you are looking for a cool brewery to check out, if you're looking for a great place to buy beer, check out Jester King. You've got to make a trip to Jester King. It is spectacular. So, having said all that, I think we should probably get into some beer. Let's try them. I picked some offerings that are not just the standard run-of-the-mill Jester King offering. So Jester King has grown over the years, where you used to not be able to find any of their beers in the Dallas area, minimal beers in the Austin area. Now you can find almost all of their normal everyday offerings in a lot of stores. Honestly, for those of you who may be watching from other states, not sure what the Jester King distribution looks like there. These beers that I picked were brewery-only offerings. So Jester King does a lot of that. All of their really special beers, they only offer at the brewery. So if you want them, you got to go down in there and grab them. So first one, let's check it out. This is Fen Tao. This is one of my all-time favorite Jester King offerings. Look at that label. Isn't that beautiful? All of their label art is absolutely stunning. They're all very inventive and creative, very cool vibes to it. That is one of the reasons this is one of my favorite of their offerings. The other is because it is a sour beer re-fermented on peaches. Being a Texas boy, big fan of peaches. Anything with peach in it, I'm a sucker for. The other cool thing about this, and I'll show you this as well so you can check that out, the peaches are actually from Stonewall, Texas. Stonewall is where my family has their winery, tiny little town in between Johnson City and Fredericksburg, Texas. Vogel Orchards is where they procured these peaches from for the 2018 Fen Tao. So very excited that there's some commerce, I guess, brought to the little city of Stonewall, Texas. So let's give this a shot. You can see nice kind of peachy color. If you can't see on camera, I can really notice it here. Yes, it's orange, but it honestly has one of those, like, it's that like peach color that's like those peach O's, those like gummies, those peach O gummies. It has that little bit of a red tinge, not just that straight orange. So it smells peachy, but not in your face. Like you can really smell the essence of Jester King. And that's something that I want to touch on that they talked a lot about, or that they talk a lot about, is their terroir. They want to have this essence of Jester King. I've drank enough Jester King beers to where I can say they all have this similar essence to them. There's something about them that when you taste it, if you've drank enough of them, you're like, oh yeah, that's a Jester King beer. I could probably blind taste all these beers in a lineup of other beers and say, this is a Jester King beer. It has that funky farmhouse kind of hay with that tart kind of aroma. Now, not all of their beers are sour beers. All of these that we're drinking are sour beers, but they all have this slight tart flavor to them. If you start drinking these beers, or if you've drank, those of you who have had Jester King beers before, I think you know what I'm talking about. They've got this essence to them. Tart. So, this is a beer that I've had a couple of the vintages of. So, this is one of the things I love about Jester King, and I'm going to do another video kind of about the same topic, which Jester King beers will be involved in. The world of beer and the world of wine, they're colliding. They're starting to... They're meeting in the middle. There's no longer just beer and wine. You're starting to find these beverages, these alcoholic beverages that if you put this in front of someone and said, "Hey, this is a beer, taste this," they'll look at you and be like, "That's a beer? Never had a beer that tastes anything like that." Same with wine. There are some wines. You put them in front of people. That's a wine? Wow, that's interesting. They're starting to clash. And so one of the things I love that Jester King does with these releases that they do every year, they put a vintage on them. So this is the 2018, this is the 5th blend. This is the 2018 Fentau, barrel aged, re-fermented on peaches. The peach to me on this vintage doesn't come through quite as much as some past vintages. May just be this particular bottle, maybe my palate today, I don't know. But to me, this has a little more tart forward, whereas other vintages of this beer in the past have been a little more fruit forward. Could be that Jester King might be changing their focus on their sour fruit beers a little bit, pulling the fruit back a little bit more, which they've always been. Trust me, Jester King has been a very restrained. Another thing I love about these guys, balance, restraint. They've got the fun fruit stuff, but it's never been boom in your face. It never lingers on your palate. It's always very delicate. But this one in particular, the peach doesn't come through as it did as much in past vintages. But very nice. Very, very nice beer. They put their barrel... Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. These two beers here. Starting with the Fentau. Then we've got the strawberry offering as well. I'm going to butcher the name, I'm sure, when I come to it. The way they make these beers is they take their base farmhouse ale, their Das Uberkind, if I'm saying that correct, I think. And I'm pretty sure it's the Uberkind. They also have the Wunderkind. But they take the Das Uberkind, and they take that beer, they put it into oak foudre with all of the fresh fruit. So for this one, took the orchards or the peaches straight from Vogel, hand macerated the peaches, put them into the foudre, and put the base beer, the Das Uberkind, on top of it, and allowed the fruit re-fermentation to take place. They then take it, bottle condition it, and all of the carbonation comes from bottle conditioning. So that's these two beers. That's how these two are done. Really nice. All right, moving on. The next beer. Okay, I'm going to try and do this. I'm going to try and be right. Somebody's probably going to correct me. Omniscience, back it up. Omniscience and proselytism. Omniscience and proselytism. Who knows? Here's the label. As you can tell, probably from the label, a little bit of a strawberry vibe going on. Definitely a different color here in the glass. It's not red. It's not super bright red. It's actually lighter than the Fentau, which is surprising. You know, you would think that a beer that's been re-fermented on strawberries or that has some kind of strawberry character to it would have a red color. This does not. Another sign that Jester King doesn't really care about, I think we're going to make a strawberry beer. People are going to expect it to be red. Let's put some red coloring in there or some strawberry syrup that is going to make it that big, bright, beautiful red color. It's just, we're going to take some strawberries, going to crush them up, throw them in the vat. Same thing as with Fintal, but with strawberries. Ooh, the smells beautiful. You can tell that they do the strawberries with the stem on. If you've ever smelled a strawberry from the top side, like before it's been cut or anything, or maybe even gnawed on some of that strawberry stem a little bit, it's almost got that same, almost like a tomato stem. It's earthier, it's greener, but there's that sweet component from the strawberry as well that you definitely pick up. Smells beautiful. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous. I think that the fruit on this beer is more front and center than the fruit on this beer, which... Yeah, I'm just going to come out and say that I totally switched the first two beers, which is why, as you can tell, I'm a little bit confused by the flavor profile of the two of them. So there's that. Was surprising to me from past vintages that I've tried of the Fintal. I expected it to be more peachy, have more of a peachiness than the strawberryness here, but actually in this one you can pick the strawberry up more, and especially that strawberry stem. I mean, it's that green, like I said, almost like tomato-y. There's like a tomato quality to it. So this is a beer that I actually first tried, one of my first Jester King barrel-aged fruit sours, which again are some of their most sought-after beers. One of their first barrel-aged fruit sours from Jester King that I had was this beer, Omniscience and Proselytism. I had it at a beer brunch at Meddlesome Moth here in Dallas, and it was just like, whoa. And they paired the item that they paired it with I remember it being a perfect pairing. I want to say it was like a foie gras pairing with like a fruit, like I'm assuming strawberry, like a strawberry jam or something like that. And the two of those like combined with each other, it was unbelievable. That's really nice. Another really nice offering. So also the fifth blend of this beer and 2018 vintage as well. So both of these are in the same kind of life cycle that they've gone through at Jester King. They've done them 4 times before this. Fifth iteration, again, very restrained. The alcohol, the Fintal was 6. The alcohol on I'm going to call it O&P, on the O&P is 5.3, so slightly lower alcohol. I would attribute that probably to peaches are always very big sugar, ripe, especially here in Texas. Strawberries can be a little bit more fickle. Even the ripe ones, they seem to not have as much of that sugar content to them. That's probably what I would attribute the varying alcohol levels to. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. Other thing that I wanted to mention, so talking about kind of scarcity, 2,000 bottles on this, about 3,000 bottles on this. Last beer. So this is Aurastone. Another beautiful label. Very cool stuff. Jester King always puts out the great labels. I'm going to clear my throat for this one because... So this is a new beer. This is a new offering from Jester King. This is the first time they've offered it. Not a vintage beer like these two. This one's got a crazy mad process that they go through to make this. So follow me. Farmhouse ale, re-fermented on spent peaches and apricots. So the peaches that they used to make this, the fresh peaches went in here. When they were done, drained the beer off, took the spent peaches that they used here, used them in this beer. Same thing with apricots. Aurelian Lure, that's another one of their fruit sour beers they make with apricots. Same process. Took those spent peaches that they used, put them in with this. So, farmhouse ale, re-fermented, spent peaches and apricots, aged 18 months in Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc used wine barrels. Beer comes out of there, finished with kaffir lime and pink sea salt. Lots going on. I have had a bottle of this beer. It was wonderful when I had it. These guys, 500 mils, $20 a bottle. Pretty pricey for such a small amount of beer, but those guys at Jester King, they know how to market their product. Scarcity, supply, demand, really serious process that they go into to make these. A lot of people's hands being involved in it. Higher price point makes sense. These guys, so they put out a couple of offerings in this size bottle, the 750 milliliter bottle, $22 for this guy. Larger amount, similar cost, used with the spent fruit that's already gone into these, usually more subtle fruit characteristics in these beers. But I found that for me, these are some of my favorite offerings from Jester King. Spent fruit, a little better price point, but they just tend to have such great balance. And I have had a bottle of this before, really delicious stuff. See, you don't get any sort of fruit in your face like pow, 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 peaches, apricots. You don't get that on the nose. It's actually a very faint nose. Like these two, when you swirl them, I don't even really need to dive in because they're coming out. This one, you gotta dig that schnoz down in there. Get it through the mustache. And you can pick up some of that lime. You can smell that kaffir lime in there for sure, but those apricots and those peaches aren't really coming through. Sorry, I've got the deli spitter today. This one has an acidity almost like, so I know this is going to sound cliche because it's been aged in white wine barrels. This one has an acidity like a really nice like Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand or a really nice Alsatian Riesling. It's dry. It's very dry, but that searing acidity, like these are tart. This one has some of that acid that just like down here, it just like your mouth just continues to water after you've already, spit it or swallowed it. A lot going on with this beer. So, yeah, these guys are there. Like I said, Jester King is known for these, especially Atrial Rubicite. It's their strawberry barrel fermented beer.
Come on, man.
That's what Jester King has really garnered a lot of fame for their ability to make these restrained, balanced, beautiful fruit farmhouse ales. This beer, to me, these are the kind of beers that I love from Jester King. This has complexity. It's got this acidity to it that's just like, it's razor sharp. It makes you, for some of you who drink a lot of sour beers, you kind of know what I'm getting at here, where when I say these are tart, like on the mid palate, this is just acidic, and it's just like smooth when you swallow it, but then it's got this like acidity that just like lingers, and it's It's just really nice. I mean, these guys drink these on their own, sit on the porch, sit by the fire, whatever time of year it is. Drink these guys by themselves, share them with a friend, your wife, your husband, whoever. This is a food pairing beer. This beer is so complex, but also so still restrained and delicate with all of those things that are going on with it. 4.9% alcohol. This is just a really, really beautiful, well-made beer. I hope that Jester King continues to do these because, like I said, they're my preference in that nothing really jumps out at you, but there's a lot there. There's a lot going on with it, and you can pair it with food. You can drink it by itself. I mean, just a really, really solid effort from Jester King. So, that's that. We went a little longer than I actually thought we were going to go, being as this was supposed to just be a quick knock some beers out so I have something to drink with my boy back home. But, you know, as you can tell, Jester King is very, very important to me. Jester King got me thinking about beer different. It took me from saying beer has to be this to beer can be whatever the hell it wants to be. And because of that, it opened my eyes up to wine in that way and to a lot of other things in that way. So Jester King, you will always have a place in my heart. Your beers continue to be stunning. Excited about what you guys have coming up, all the farming that you're doing. Turn the pizza place into your own restaurant. The goats are out there. Love that. Love seeing everything that you guys have going on. And for those of you out there watching, if you haven't had Jester King, get you some Jester King. Try it out. Make a trip to the brewery. You won't regret it. It's got this essence. Like I said before, it's got an essence to it that it'll leave an impression on you, I think. So, all right, guys. Thanks a lot for joining today. Liquid Culture. Mitchell Shirok. We'll talk to y'all later.